Foraging. I hate foraging. If you were to ask every Skyblock player what their least favourite skill is, I would bet a large sum of money that foraging makes up the vast majority of the answers. But why do people hate it? Well, it's one of the most underdeveloped skills in the game, apart from social, but let's not go down that route. To put it simply, it's really f***ing boring. You go to the forest, you mine log again, and you mine log again. That is literally all there is to it, so it's no surprise that even most endgame players don't have it maxed. So when I finished the rest of my skills, I had a long sigh and looked at the best way to level foraging. I attempted the classic method of running around the dark oak forest with a tree cap and breaking those trees, but it was so contested that I just gave up. And that was without everyone flocking there during derpy. After looking around at some easier methods, I found this, a way to actually AFK foraging 50. Now I should make this clear, you won't be able to take your hand off your mouse because you do need to be breaking logs, but for me I have a wireless mouse, so technically I can get up, go downstairs, make a coffee and come back, all with my hand on my mouse. Although I wouldn't recommend this as you wouldn't be able to react to a macro check, and we all know what happens then. The setup for this is very simple, and can be done by just about anyone. The only actual requirements are a tree cap and foraging minions, but you can spend a good bit of money to make this as optimal as possible. So this is the maxed out setup, and I'll go through all the items required, from what I think is most useful to least useful. But before I do that, this video is sponsored by Crue. Crue is a loyalty platform that rewards fans for their support. With Crue, your community can earn tokens by engaging with your socials, which can be redeemed for unique prizes and experiences. And Crue isn't just some random brand that reached out to me. I've been using their Discord bot in my server to host giveaways for almost a year now, even from before I started YouTube. They've been kind enough to sponsor giveaways before, and this time we're giving away over $100 in rank upgrades and Skyblock gems just for being active in my server. So go head to discord.gg/cakesoul and say hello. And if you're a creator looking to use Crue, there's also a link to their server in the description. So onto what you'll need for maximum minion speed. Tier 11 of any type of foraging minion, 45 minion expanders giving plus 5% each, a woodcutting crystal giving plus 10%, a level 100 legendary ocelot pet for an extra 30% speed, a tier 5 beacon powered up near your minions for an extra 10%, 15 flycatchers for plus 20% on each of the minions you have them in, having all your minions mithril infused, giving another 10%, and most importantly foul flesh, which increases your minion speed by a whopping 90%. But unlike a minion fuel like hypercatalysts, you'll always make your money back from the wood you break. So next up we'll be maximizing your foraging wisdom, and there's not nearly as much you can do with this, but there are a few things. The Toil Reforge on your tree cap, along with a recombobulator for 5 extra foraging wisdom, a blue but green abbey case in your inventory for another 1.5 wisdom, obviously a god pot and booster cookie for 20 and 25 wisdom respectively, and last but not least, the level 100 legendary ocelot we mentioned earlier will give you another 30 wisdom. There is also this item called the Annihilation Cloak that gives you another 2 wisdom, but it costs like 300 mil and requires you to have Blaze Slayer 7, so I don't think anyone will bother with it. I certainly haven't. Now the build for this is very simple, but I always found build tutorials painful, so instead of going into detail about how to build it, you can just /visit Ben Clark and go to my garden where I've set the spawn by a replica of the one I have on my main island. But in the case that you're watching this video several months in the future, it essentially goes like this. You have minions in the middle, alternating 1 and 2 minion expanders to reach the full dirt area that's 4 wide. Then you have teleport pads and water pushing you around. It's really quite simple, and I've put signs down telling you exactly where everything needs to go. So there you have it, a technically AFK-able foraging method. But could you actually go from foraging 0 to foraging 50 this derpy? Well, the short answer is yes. Derpy will be about for around 125 hours. And based on my normal test where I got 336k XP per hour, with derpy that's multiplied by 1.5, meaning you get about 500k XP per hour. So you'd need to hold down your mouse breaking trees for just 109.5 hours to get foraging 50. Most people have at least tried foraging before, so it won't take all of you that long, but it's entirely doable. Just don't sleep for 4 days. You might also be wondering what this would cost you and what you would make. Well, the biggest expense that you can't resell, like pets, talismans and tools, would be the foul flesh. Going for 110 hours would cost you about 18 million coins, but from my test you'd make about 95 million just from wood in that time. But this profit could be increased significantly using an XP share on something like a monkey or a lion. Overall, 110 hours of your life is a small price to pay to AFK maxing the most horrific skill in Hypixel Skyblock. Don't forget to subscribe and have a good one.